Hello YouTubers, and welcome to the Budget Stacker. Today we're going to be talking about why I get charged an extra 10.25% premium because I live in this state. Other states have similar issues, and we're going to kind of get into that now and how it affects the cost of our silver and gold. Stay tuned. Here we go. All right, YouTuber as well. Today we're going to discuss my extra 10.25% premium that I pay for every purchase, pretty much. Actually, every purchase I have done in silver and gold, and it's only because I live in the golden state, oddly enough, of California. You know, it's not technically a premium that's tacked on, but it works just the same way, where I have to pay an extra percentage above the actual cost of the silver, or the spot price. Of course, the dealers they're putting on their premium. They actually have some of that passed on to them from the producers of the gold, the mints, the etc. That's part of doing business, I understand. But then we get taxed on these purchases as well. Not every single state in the U.S. Has that. I believe it's Alaska, Delaware, New Hampshire, Montana, Oregon, and I think Arkansas may have just recently made it so it's not taxable. So not every state takes that stance, but in California, I've got my extra 10.25% premium. I guess there was a court case. And this is even if I'm buying the bullion from an online dealer that doesn't even have a presence in the state. In 2018, apparently there was a ruling that, hey, other states can't charge if they don't have a presence in the state. But then I believe it was reversed, and I think I just read it was 2020 or 2021, where it is now okay for other states to charge a sales tax in the state that the company you're doing business with online has no presence. So so I am forced to pay that, of course, as a sales tax. Saw a recent video. I was actually thinking about this whole idea and planning on making this video beforehand, but Backyard Bullion had a great video where he's talking about that they've taken away the VAT for European Union sales of bullion. That's value added tax. It really should be the CAT for cost added tax, but because taxes never really add value to these purchases, if you ask me. But basically, they've removed that from there. He was mentioning that some states, don't have it, but that's my research. It's about 5 states that don't have it. Arkansas, I believe, is adding to that recently. The problem with California is they say, oh well, no, we don't pay. You don't have to pay taxes on it if your transaction is for $1,500. So basically, the more wealthy persons in our society are able to get their bullion, and they're paying $1,500 a pop, so they don't get charged on that. So the budget stackers such as myself, who's scrimping and saving and on a budget essentially to buy silver, so can't buy $1,500 at a time, may buy that over 2 or 3 months, but I can't buy that one time, so I get penalized the 10.25%. So much for looking out for the little guy, state of California. But that is our reality here, and it's the reality in a lot of states as well too, not just California. Other states have sales tax as well too, so it is like adding a premium. What really gets me is that that's even on U.S. minted coins. So this is a U.S. Silver Eagle It is essentially supposed to be currency. It says it's $1. Obviously, you're not going to sell that for $1, but that's U.S. currency. So to exchange my fiat currency, I'm going to change some of this, not this much, of course. And this is emergency cash. I don't want to spend that in one shot. This is what we have just in case we need cash on hand. But this is basically money I'm exchanging for fiat currency, and I'm being taxed on it. What really irks me is that's the same thing even for, old junk silver, colonial silver. This is money. Someone could mistakenly pass this off. They could give this as a $50. But when I'm buying it for its true value of silver, I got to pay tax on that. And that's basically because the IRS has deemed this as a precious metal, these precious metals, even in this form, as collectible. So, they're actually subject to capital gains tax too if I sell them. The one good thing, though, I will say about holding physical silver, unlike with stocks, if you have a pool of stocks, you can't say, these particular shares are the ones I want to sell. I mean, you can. You have to designate one way or another. So it's either last in, first out, which is LIFO, or first in, first out, which is FIFO. So you can make certain things like that. But with physical silver, this is actually a physical item, so a physical commodity. This particular one even has a serial number, so I can prove if I bought this one, maybe when the prices were a little higher, maybe prices have come down a little bit, as they have, just seen recently in the just below the $20 range, which is incredible at the time of filming of this video. So yeah, that could be something where I could take that one where I know I'm not really going to have any capital gains on, or I have less capital gains on, and I can sell that one. So because it's a physical item, they can't say, oh no, you can't do that, because it's a physical piece of silver. So I can sell the one that's more tax advantageous for me. And there you go. So that's one advantage you have with holding physical silver as opposed to some sort of paper asset, like stocks, where you have to figure out one way or another how you're going to address that, and then abide by that. But in this case, I'm not a tax professional, so you want to see a tax professional, and this is not advice to buy or sell silver. So you got to make up your own mind in all of this. These are just my impressions. But yeah, that I think is one good thing, where you can choose which particular part of silver should you need to sell, which if you can hold on to it, just hold on to it. And I always would suggest that you don't buy, of course, silver, gold on credit. That's a no-no, because you're just, that's just not right. Any extra cash you have, just buy as much as you can, would be my recommendation if you're looking to store some wealth in a more secure fashion. It's a commodity, so like the recent move, you got to realize it's going to go up and down, but over time this is a longer term investment, and over time this should be preserving your wealth, because it's not going to be overprinted or overproduced out of thin air like our fiat currency certainly can be. All they need to, this is printed, but these days when they're putting more money into the system, they're just doing it digitally. They're not even going to the trouble of printing it anymore. It's printed electronically. So we're getting into scary territory, if you ask me, regarding that. But with physical silver, I can I do have that advantage of choosing what I would want to sell if I should ever need to sell it. But in California, 10.25% extra premium for me, because although I have some cash that I set aside for emergencies, I can't go ahead and blow this on one purchase, because this is set aside for emergencies. So if there's a few days or weeks or a month where you can't get to a bank to get cash, I need to have something. So that's what that's for. And this is my financial insurance. Again, this is all my particular idea of this, but this is financial insurance. I have to deal with the way things can be purchased here in America. Of course, as Backguard Bullion very eloquently put, he's got to deal with how things are handled in Europe and, of course, Britain. But yeah, that's pretty much the reality for all of us that don't live in those wonderful states of Alaska, Delaware, New Hampshire, Montana, Oregon, and I believe Arkansas as well has been added to that, where you don't have to pay taxes. Different states, from what I've seen, have little kind of odd variances. So if you want to kind of educate what you know about that, please to the community out there, then please do leave a comment. Let us know in your state, how do they treat the purchase of gold and silver? Do they tax you? Do they tax you at a certain level? Do they tax you only in certain things? Like maybe they give you a break and don't tax you on U.S. minted stuff. That I think at least if it's minted by the U.S., if it's something that was previously issued by the U.S. and you're in the U.S., why are we paying taxes on the purchase of money? It's like if I went to the bank and they said, okay, that'll be, we're going to charge you an extra 10.25% for your, taking out the $100. Why? Because you're exchanging your electronic fiat for paper fiat. So, but that's the way it is. That's our reality right now. I'm stacking for the long term. Hopefully you are too. But again, it's not advice. It's strictly up to you. I'm not a commodities broker. This is a commodity. It will go up and down in value. So if you've got a long-term perspective and you're saving the stuff for your financial insurance, like I am, that I think is a good idea, particularly in the scary times that we do live right now. So regardless of the state that you live in, stacking silver and gold can be a very good way to preserve your wealth if the stuff does hit the fan. And based on how many U.S. fiat dollars have been pumped into the system just since 2020, I think it's like 8 times the amount of fiat currency that we had prior to 2000. Just out of thin air, printed electronically, pumped into the system, artificially kept things going, but eventually you run out of that strategy. So that's what I'm afraid of. That's why I'm stacking silver and gold. You may have other reasons, but that's essentially how I feel about it. And that is my 10.25% extra premium I have to deal with, but I will, because I'll keep stacking. So hope you liked the video, kind of talking over this. Please do leave a comment if you have a particularly different situation in your state or your country. I know this is watched internationally. And thank you so much for watching. Hope you give us a thumbs up. Hope you can subscribe. I really appreciate that. It does help us YouTubers to kind of get encouraged to keep at it. So I thank you so much for watching. Have a great rest of your day or evening, and God bless. Take care.